Yes.
All right, and we're live today. Let's see. Hi everyone, I'm Lily, and today I'm gonna host with Joelle.
Hi everyone, my name is Joelle, and I'd like to welcome you to the fourth and last pre-event of the International Care Leavers Convention. I'm a member of the Youth Welfare Forum, as is Lily, although I'd like to say I'm a care leaver, but Lily is a little bit cheating right now.
Well, currently I'm not a care leaver yet, but hopefully that will be soon. I'll soon tick that one off.
And we'll be your moderators for today. Um, Lily, I'd like to ask you, why do you think care leaving is important for us?
Well, with the Youth Welfare Forum, we advocate for policy changes. So in the Netherlands, most youngsters leave care when they turn 18. And in my opinion, they are not always that well prepared.
Yeah, what happens is at 18, you are an adult for the law in the Netherlands, so you get a lot of responsibilities. And a lot of our youth are not ready for those responsibilities at the same time and to leave care. So that brings a problem with it. And like I mentioned before, this is the fourth pre-event of the International Care Leavers Convention, and it's also the last of the four. We've had the first pre-event was organized by the Need for Networking through SOS Children Villages, the second one by Udayan Care, the third by University of Hildesheim, and the fourth from Kinder Perspective. And the main event will be on the 23rd and the 22 till the 25th of November, and don't forget to register.
Yes, so today we are just gonna, we're currently giving you a quick welcome and then we're gonna do poster pitches. So we are giving the pitches in blocks of 5 and afterwards you can ask questions about the posters through the Q&A chat function. And afterwards we are going to announce the winners of the posters from today.
Luckily, today we have a very a lot of offers for you to participate in this event. We have the chat option, and you can use this chat option to ask your questions or talk to each other. And then you have the Q&A, and these are the questions that you have for the poster presenters themselves, because the presentations will be after each other, and at the end of a block we will have the poster presentation or the Q&A. And then I'd like to remind you to drop your question to one of the presenters with their name, and then Lily and I will ask them, and that will be the Q&A option. We'll have polls in between, and we already have the final, we already have winners of the care leavers who voted, but we will have a live voting today. So I'd also like to remind you that at the end you can vote for the one that you thought was the best today in this live present webinar.
Yeah, so it is really important that that you all remember the name and the country of your favorite poster presentation.
We'd also like to remind you a little bit too fast. We'd also like to remind you that we do have winners, but the most important thing for today is your participation and not who won or who lost, because this is not that is not important.
All
And
right, so during the day we are also going to have polls and we're just going to start with the first one. So if you can please fill this poll in that goes on that is on the screen right now. The question is, I am either a care leaver, a professional, or maybe both a professional and a care leaver. All right, so everyone is seeing the results right now. Today we are with almost 60% professionals and 30% care leavers for everyone who filled in the poll. And some of them are even both a professional and care leaver. So that was the first poll of the day.
And before we start with the presentations, I like to remind everyone that you really only have 4 minutes. It's not that we don't respect your presentation, but to keep the time and to keep it fair for everyone, we'd like you'll hear a bell at the end of your or at the end of your 4 minutes, and then you'll you can complete your sentence. But after that, we'd like you to stop, just to give everyone the same amount of time and attention. And now we can start with our first presenter, Magdalena Kepka from Poland. Before we start your presentation, I'd like to ask you a question, maybe a personal question, just to break the ice a little bit. Magda, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I would like to ask you, what is a country that you would love to visit?
Now, frankly speaking, I would like to go to Netherlands because my partner lives there nowadays. He left in February, so we have really rare occasions now to meet because of the COVID. So I would like to go to the Netherlands.
Well, I hope we see you soon in the Netherlands. And now I'll give you your 4 minutes. When there's only a minute left, you'll see a sign from me in the camera, so you'll know how much time you have left. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. I represent Robinson Crusoe Foundation, which supports transmission into adulthood of caregivers in Poland, and we are practitioners here. One of our main activity is development and performance of workshops with games on topics related to achieving self-reliance and living care. There are 6 main areas we focused on and find crucial in process. It's education and work, health, relations, finances, housing, and law. During our workshops, we use a COLP experimental learning cycle, believing that active experimentation is important in process of gaining knowledge. In our games, caregivers always plays in teams. We try to introduce to them not only competing activities, but also teamwork. The games are prepared and conduct in an attractive way. There is always fun. So process of learning is not visible and not noticed by young people. We have simulations and board games. Self-sufficient Robinson, the last we developed, was created together with caregivers who participated in our other projects and programs. It consists of many situations that caregivers may face in their current life, and it's a good platform to discuss the particular behaviors and how they result and influence our lives. The other simulation game is Robinson on Plus. It teaches how to manage home budget. The game starts when the caregiver goes to first work and receives first salary and have to pay the bills and find the balance in spending. The games show how education and different courses might influence our income. Other important games are simulations games. One on health, which is, I think, nowadays very important, teaches how to exist in Polish health system. Due to COVID-19, we are now creating online version because many visits in doctors' offices now online. The players are giving some symptoms of illnesses and have to decide to which doctor they should go. Is it like emergency or family doctor is enough, and then they have to follow the path. Another game, Robinson on Law, teaches how to uh, about Polish law for caregivers, give practical hints how to apply for certain aid, but also teaches about obligation we have in crises uh, as citizens in Poland. The last game, it's Robinson on his own, and it's 5-day simulation. The young people, they start their enterprises and train themselves in different roles. They have to work in teams to gain the bigger income. And the company which has the biggest income wins. So we constantly develop our program, and frankly speaking, we hope that all pandemic time will end and we will be able to come back to our activities with games. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Magda. It was a really great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very
So,
much.
to remind everyone, if you have any questions about the poster, you can drop them in the Q&A function, and then afterwards we will answer the question after the first 5 posters. So over to our next speaker, Purnima Jindal. Welcome. Are you here?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you just fine. Great.
Okay, thank you so much.
So for you, just a quick icebreaker question. Who was your idol when you were 18?
My idol when I was 18, I think I loved my maths teacher a lot because maths was my favorite subject at that point in time, and there how I chose maths honors in my graduation. So I would say like she was my idol, and I always wanted to become a teacher like her, but I ended up in this development sector. Thank you.
Well, here you can still make a great impact on also the life of youth. So we're very curious about your work. Take it away.
Thank you so much. Great. I am in second year of hotel administration course. The sector is one of the worst affected by this pandemic. In case the sector does not revive, I would have to go for an alternative career option. This was expressed by a young girl from SOS Children's Villages, Philippines, who shared her views when asked to share the challenges she was facing because of this COVID-19 pandemic. Such questions have now become common for most young people who were looking forward to start their independent career lives. The situation is more challenging for young people planning to leave alternative care. Hello everyone, I am Purnima Jindal and I am representing SOS Children's Villages International as the youth focal person from Asia region. SOS Children's Villages work together with local communities in 136 countries and territories to meet the needs of children and young people without parental care or on the verge of losing it. We encourage young people to have a voice and become active participants in decision-making process affecting their lives. COVID-19 pandemic has devastated lives in various forms, and even today after several months the gaps are still widening. The pandemic is proving more devastating for young people leaving alternative care. It has put into question their transition to higher education, to employment, and towards economic and financial independence. We at SOS Children's Villages in Asia plan to reach out to our young people in our care to understand their mental status, to learn about the challenges they are facing because of this pandemic, and to suggest way forward as they plan to leave care in post COVID-19 era. We reached out to 728 young people from 9 countries in Asia, namely Bangladesh, India, Indonesia, Laos, Nepal, Philippines, Sri Lanka, Thailand, and Vietnam. We also reached out to 93 mentors or industry volunteers to capture their voices on pandemic as well. The key findings, if you could go down, the key findings could be visible. Yes. Yeah, thank you. The key findings of this survey is summarized under 5 aspects, namely major fear and apprehensions, lifestyle challenges, internet connectivity challenges, skill development, and the feedback from the mentors or volunteers. All young people responding to the survey were fearful about their education, their examinations being delayed, and their health conditions. 80% shared that they missed going out and socializing, and that, hand washing, social distancing, these are the new concepts, regular hand washing, that they have adopted due to this COVID-19 pandemic. Young people were facing internet connectivity challenges as well. Almost all the young people had to stop their additional skill development activities due to this pandemic. Volunteers suggested to concentrate on creative industries like mobile application, content development for better job opportunities. Based on the key finding of the survey, we recommend the following for the young people who are planning to leave alternative care during this COVID-19 pandemic. Can we see the rightmost section of this? Um, yes, poster up there. Yeah. Okay. So
Everything's
yes, I just want, like, if it is visible to everyone. Otherwise, I'll continue. Okay. Based on the key findings, we suggest the following to the young people who are planning to leave alternative care. Young people should ensure mental health and well-being and should seek support whenever needed. Young people should have access to uninterrupted broadband connection. They should explore online courses, enhance their digital skills. Young people
Thank
should,
you, Purnima.
yeah.
Because of the time, we have to continue.
Yeah. I'll just come concluding. They should, concentrate on employability skills development, and also should network more for their employment and connectivity. I would like to conclude by saying that life will not get easier or forgiving. We need to get stronger and more resilient. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think you're
Good
muted.
morning.
That's why you weren't hearing me. It was on mute. No, I was asking Federica. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I'd also like to ask you a question before you start. And my question for you is, who's your favorite superhero?
Superhero. I think that Wonder Woman, no?
Wonder Woman. Well, I can get that. She's amazing. You'll also have 4 minutes. I'll give you a sign at 1, and good luck.
Thank you. Okay. So, good morning. My name is Federica Gullo, and I'm part of the Family and Childhood Research Group of the University of Oviedo in Spain, where I'm doing my PhD on topics related to the transition to adulthood from care. I would like to start with the word of a caregiver that I interviewed, who, answering the question about his satisfaction with the received service, they said, "I'm grateful to them because without their help and the change that thanks to this I have given, I would still be a lost cause, and who know where I would ended up." So we all know that young people who reach the age of majority in the residential or foster care are one of the most vulnerable group, because they are forced to do a compressed and accelerated transition with several risk factors. So the objective of this study was to evaluate the self-esteem and well-being of this group depending on gender. The sample was composed of 150 caregivers from 7 autonomous communities in Spain, aged between 18 and 25 years. We have interviewed them to collect information about different aspects of their current and past situation, and we have applied also some standardized tests. But for this poster, we have focused only on the self-esteem scale of Rosenberg and the Cummings well-being scale. The first one is one of the most used and famous scale to assess the self-esteem, focusing on feelings of respect and acceptance of oneself. And the other one is assess the satisfaction with different areas of life of each person. If you look at the result section, you can see that regarding self-esteem, most of care leavers show a high level of self-esteem, but we found also a significant difference between, because boys showed a higher level of self-esteem. In fact, you can see that on the left part of the graph, we had a 79% of boys against 56% of girls in the height range. And in the left right part of the graph, we had 22% of girls against only 7% of boys in the low range. Also, in the case of well-being, in general, they showed a nice level of well-being with a medium height score, and the dimension with which they are less satisfied are those related to the family and the security for their future. But looking at the average score of each group, we can see that boys tend also to have a higher level of well-being than girls, with significant difference in many items. We have seen also that there is a positive correlation between these two scales. In other words, high level of self-esteem correspond to higher level of well-being also, and vice versa. So what we can deduce that girls tend to have a lower level of self-esteem and well-being than boys. And this translates into a greater vulnerability of this group, which require to carry out intervention with a gender perspective, taking into account that girls have specific needs, specific problems and characteristics, and that they often experience an increased suffering and psychological distress. So we have to do more research on these topics. That's all. Thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you so much. Amazing presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now on to the next poll, I believe. So the next poll is also just going to appear again. And if you would all please fill it in, that will be amazing. So this time the question is, do you really know how children or youth without home care survive or create income? You can do it either by starting business enterprises, drug dealing, or by looking for employment opportunities. And while you're all filling in the poll, I wanted to remind you, if you have any questions about the posters or any maybe even remarks, you can fill them in the Q&A section.
And also don't forget, if you have a question for a specific person, to put their names next to it.
So I'm just waiting on the results of the poll. Okay, so in this case, most of children use without home care create income by looking for employment opportunities, almost 58%. So now we're going to go to the next poster. Our fourth speaker today is from Africa. So can you tell me what the official languages are in your country?
The official language?
Yeah.
It's English, please.
Okay, amazing, nice. So we're very curious to hear more about your work. So let's share it.
Namyanja Rita. I'm a student. Currently, I'm taking on a Dutch course, and I do research.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you want to start with the presentation of your poster?
Of course.
Yes, thank you.
Rita, can you see your own poster and can you start presenting it, like sharing the outcome?
Of course, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it.
Oh, I think the connection is quite bad. Can you please
I'm
read
seeing it? Yeah.
Okay, let's
I
start.
can get you. I salute you all dignitaries, fellow presenters, participants, and the entire audience. As enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, that is in Article 1 that quotes that all human beings are born free, equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in the spirit of brotherhood. So this is my humble call to everyone watching and following the International Caregivers Convention 2020. Let's all try to respect human rights, especially the rights of children without home carers and youths. These are people who are living in misery. I think most of you can try to check on my abstract. These are people who are living in absolute poverty. But for how long can we go on with the same situation? For how long can we have this in our different countries? So it's a call upon everyone. SOS, Children's Villages, FIS International, that is the International Federation for Educative Communities, UNICEF, to all to try to critically analyze the situation at hand, the situation of children without home carers and youths, so that we can act upon their challenges. Let's all try to embrace the action-oriented solutions to their problems, to their pressing challenges. Really, these are people who are having challenges. They lack decent accommodation. You can try to check out on my abstract. There are photos that I took, which is really inheriting what is really taking place on the ground in Uganda. These are people who are living in slums. They cannot afford proper medical care. They cannot afford accommodation, proper accommodation. Some of them even reside on streets. But this is very alarming. We all ought to act upon this. And it is interesting to note that these are people, these are children who have untapped potential. For example, some of them are good at skills. They have different skills and abilities. Some are good at tailoring, some are good at computing, some are good at hairdressing, some are good at carpentry and craftsmaking, but really they lack an upper hand. We all ought to help them to unleash their potential and abilities. So please, it's a call upon everyone, fellow participants, presenters, the entire audience, FIS, the International Federation for Educative Communities, SOS Children's Villages, and UNICEF at large, all presenters, my fellow presenters, the entire audience watching, let's act upon the situation of children and youths without home carers. Let's embrace action-oriented solutions solving their pressing challenges. Thank you for your attention.
I'd like to thank you, Rita, for this amazing and beautiful and emotional presentation. And now from from Uganda, we're going to Turkey. Abdullah Oskay. Sorry, by the way, if I pronounce your name wrong.
You said correctly. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I have a personal question for you too. What is your favorite sports?
My favorite sport is squash tennis. Yesterday I had a squash organization. I was a squash organization and I injured myself, but I liked a lot squash.
Well, thank you. Today it's a bit. Today's pitch is a bit of a race, but that's not the only. But that's the only similarity we have with sports. But I'd like to see what you will share with us, and I'll give you the stage. You have 4 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I want to talk about the child support network. I am the founder of the Hayasende Association in Turkey, and it was established in 2007 in Turkey. It has many national and international networks and implemented so many projects so far. One of them is the Child Support Network. Child Support Network, from now on, I call it as CSN, is a project of Hayasende Association. CSN is a service-based advocacy project. It rests on AAA approach. AAA approach is access to information, advice, and advocacy. It's a digital line that serves to the caretakers, caregivers, foster and adoptive families to solve the problems they face in the child protection system. Hayasende matches the applicants with professionals from different specializations such as lawyers, psychologists, psychiatrists, social service experts, and so on. There are 30 experts all around Turkey in the line. Hayasende also follows the process for the critical intervention on behalf of the applicants. For example, any serious infringement of the applicant can be followed by Hayasende in the litigation process. Hayasende has also prepared and published Caregivers Guide. Now, Hayasende desires to implement this project on mobile. With this mobile application, we want to give advice to the applicants, match the applicants with professionals, and follow the process completely online. Hayasende also used the reports of CSN as the lobbying and advocacy campaigns. Thank you. Can I continue, or it's okay now? The time is finished.
We have 1 minute and 30 seconds left.
Okay. The annual reports of CSN are used for the lobbying and advocacy campaigns of Hayasende. CSN and Caregivers Guide are good examples to solve the problems of the target group in a highly digitalized world. Now we want to make a mobile application, and we desire to use this mobile application to give advice to the applicants, match the applicants with the professionals, and follow the process completely online. The last thing we want is to announce scholarship, job, and intern opportunities for caregivers and caretakers. Thank you. That's all I want to present. Thank you again.
I'd like to thank you very much, you in specific, but also I'd like to thank all the speakers that have spoken till now. You're doing all an amazing job. And it's time for the Q&A. Lily, are there any questions?
Well, first a quick remark. Obviously everyone presented absolutely incredibly, and all the abstracts from everything that they presented will be found on the website from the convention. So if you have any, if you want to see something again or read it in more detail, you can go there. So for now, please go to the Q&A function if you have a question, and then we can, yeah, you can ask some questions there, and we'll answer them. Let's see.
I can see a question for Abdullah. First, Maria would like to thank you, and after that, do you happen to have an English translation of your guide?
Thank you again for the question. Actually, we are modeling the Create Foundation that's based in Australia. They have a guideline, createyourfuture.org.au. We use this model as a base for our project, and we designed it in line with the Turkish system. For example, in this project, you can submit how a caregiver can submit its application to the, for example, job offices and so on, or how to get enrolled to the military service and so on. There are too much things. They are designed for the Turkish system, but our model was based on the Create Foundation, createyourfuture.org.au. Thank you.
Thank you. Lily, do you see a question in the chat?
Yeah, we first have a question for Magda here. Let's see. They are wondering if the games are also available for others. So Magda, if you're here.
Yes, I am, of course. In generally, we could share the engine and the general idea. I've already answered this question to somebody, but they are in Polish, so there is a matter of translation. But also Game on Law and Game on Health, they have this specific Polish context. And context. So the system may be different, but in general we could share the whole idea and how it looks and how it works.
Nice, amazing. Joelle, do you see any remarks or maybe questions?
Yeah, well, I'll see here a thank you to Rita. And they're telling you that they can identify with your situation. And also, thank you, Rita. Action is definitely something we need more of. So a lot of praise. Let's see.
There's also another question, also for Magda. Do you know of an organization in Russia called Project Noon? They're also the simulation games and orphanage, just letting you know for some networking purposes. So maybe that's something for you.
I didn't know. If somebody could post this name on the question and answer or chat, I will appreciate, because I'm really interested in.
Well, while you were presenting, there were a lot of comments in the chats, and we'd like to thank those comments. A lot of support, a lot of greetings. Also for Federica, wonderful presentations. Thank you. And I'd like to thank all the presenters also. I think it's time to go on.
Yes, it is.
To the next block. Let's see.
Yes, so now we're going to the first presenter of the second block, Carolyn. Thank you so much for being here today. So your question, to break the ice a bit, is what is your favorite country?
Ooh, I have different countries I like, but as I was visiting India last year, I like this country very much and I want to come back soon, hopefully. So yeah, India, of course.
Amazing, thank you. So let's see what you're here to present today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation. Write your PhD about a topic that touches your heart, not only for some weeks or months, but for many, many years. This is what people told me when I had the idea to write a dissertation 7 years ago. And yes, I found the topic that touches my heart until now, leaving care from foster families. So hello, my name is Carolyn. I am a researcher and teacher from the University of Hildesheim in Germany, and I want to give you a short insight in my PhD that I finished last year. In general, not much research on leaving care is done in Germany so far. Since 2012, the number of studies increases, but they mainly focused on residential care. Foster care was more at the margin. I was wondering about this research gap because nearly 90,000 young people officially live in foster families in Germany. And this is how my PhD started. Within my PhD, I interviewed 7 care leavers aged from 18 until 24 years. 3 of them lived in kinship care, all with grandparents, and 4 of them in non-relative care. I asked them, how did they cope with the transition from care to adulthood, and who supported them in this leaving care process. For me, it was important to get the young people's point of view because previous studies mainly focused on interviews or surveys with professionals from child and youth care or the foster parents. Additionally, I had an interest in social networks and social relationships because research found out that social networks of care leavers are quite small, and when care ends, social support of child and youth care ends as well. This is precarious because research always reveals that social relationships are important for everyone's life, not only in the transition to adulthood. Now I picked out 3 main results from my PhD that I want to present. At first, care leavers have different people who supported them in the transition from care to adulthood. Most important are foster families, peers like boy and girlfriends, or friends in general, and others like supervisors from vocational trainings and work. Within this, social support is dependent on the experienced belongings. If, for example, the care leaver and his or her foster parents feel that they belong together, they receive social support at the highest level. My second result is, growing up in 2 family systems create tensions in the feeling of belonging to the families. Care leavers always have to legitimate their familiar situation towards other people because they formally belong to their biological family, but they emotionally feel a stronger belonging to the foster family. There is only one exception. Care leavers from kinship care don't have those feelings that much because their foster parents are still part of their biological family. And my third result is, different forms of being a family had to be taken into account when talking about social support. Within this, we have to think about what we call doing family. Not only the biological or the foster family are described as family, but also friends, boy and girlfriends, as well as people from work or vocational trainings. That's why, to summarize my poster pitch, it's important to ask care leavers themselves who are important for them and who are supportive people in their lives while transitioning from care to adulthood, and to include those people in the support structures. Nevertheless, professional support from child and youth care is important as well. Child and youth care can't rely on informal and private support, although it's important. They rather have the responsibility to offer reliable and continuous support structures and to include formal support as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carolyn, for your very interesting presentation, and thank you for sharing this information with us. And now we'll go on to the next presentation, and that will be Martina from Italy.
Yes, hi.
Hi. I also have a question for you. I'd like to ask you, what's your favorite season of the year?
Well, summer, probably.
And can you tell us why?
Well, the sun, the vacations.
All right, thank you. I'd like to give you your time to give us your presentation, and I'll give you a sign at 1 minute. Good luck.
All right, thank you. So first of all, thank you for giving me and the Italian Care Leavers Network this opportunity. My name is Martina. I'm a university student and a caregiver. And today I'm here with the researcher Diletta Mauri, with whom I realized this poster entitled On the Road to Our Future. Our research is based on a questionnaire addressed to caregivers, so boys and girls between 15 and 25 years old who experience the Italian child protection system. And it was carried out because, unfortunately, here in Italy, there is not much knowledge about caregivers, their lives, or their well-being and problems. And as a network of caregiver involved in participation processes, we thought that was important to better understand about caregivers, who they are, what they are doing now, and how they feel. And the questionnaires aim, we can say that, was of bringing to light the meaningful aspects of the child protection system, including also the living care. And we obtained almost 400 questionnaires. These are not representative of the population, but it's the biggest Italian research on caregiver and a good way also to understand our situation. And what has emerged concerns various aspects of the child protection system, which we have summarized in this poster in the paragraphs: evaluation of care, quality of care, living care, and personal well-being. And today I would like to highlight some results. Regarding the evaluation of care, I would like to emphasize that almost all the participants consider their experience in care an important opportunity, but on the other hand, the 14% perceive it negatively. About the quality of care, we can say that participation of the caregivers in the decision-making process is absent for the 15%, and this raises question about our right to participate in the decision-making progress about our lives, but even about our right to be heard by adults and institutions. Always speaking of rights, the research also shows a fundamental step of the child protection system, which is living care, living in the foster family or residential care. Many boys and girls indeed in the questionnaire reported the total absence of a gradual accompaniment of the community and to their life as adults, which I would like to remind you begins at only 18 years old. And this reflects also the Italian situation, since we don't have an organic legislation on living care, and in general, caregivers' instances are not seen from the government. And as a network of caregiver, in collaboration also with other organizations such as SOS Villages Italy, we are advocating in order to improve the situation. And we are glad also to share with you that today, at the moment, we have obtained an experimental fund for caregivers. And finally, the data about personal well-being show high levels of optimism despite the difficulties of the situation. And this is very significant, such as a responsibility they give to adults, which is to support and contribute to our growing up. And finally, I want to leave you with a sentence written by a caregiver that you can also find at the end of the poster, and that even represent my thought. And it says, the past, especially the difficult one, is difficult to accept, but at the same time, it'll be the only factor that will make your present change and improve also the future. That's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Martina. Now we'll immediately go over to a poll that has also to do with your poster.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it. All right. What Italian caregivers want to mean by on the road to our future? There are 4 answers. We are building our future despite the difficulties. We have a long way to go, but the future starts today. The future is built by traveling our roads together, or we cannot let only others build our future. And this is a question from you, Martina, right?
Yeah.
Let's see what everyone says. We're waiting for results right now. And here they are. 50% says we're building our future despite the difficulties. Oh, Martina, would you like to explain why you asked this question?
Well, the truth is that probably all the answers are true, but we wanted to leave the participants to interpret the title, which, well, it is meaningful. It's the more important part of a poster. So,
and is this answer right
are
or
correct?
Is there no?
Yeah, are all right.
All right, they're all right. Okay, thank you.
All right, and on to the next presentation from Bojan Krsnik from Croatia. So personally, Croatia is one of my favorite countries. I've gone there times on holiday.
Thank you.
Bojan, can I ask you, what is your favorite holiday destination?
Oh, well, I must say it is Spain, because it's really beautiful. I've been there and I can recommend you to visit. But also Croatia, of course.
Nice. All right, so I now want to ask you to present your poster, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, it's hard to continue after caregiver because it was so excellent, but I'll try. So, hi everyone, I'm Bojan from Croatia, from SOS Children's Villages Croatia, and I work like living care support expert. And I would start with a statement I often hear from young people that I work with. the young people with experience of living in care, and they say that the hardest for them was when they came from family home to care, because it was difficult to them to separate from home, family, and friends. And the second hardest time in their life is when they have to leave the care system, because they're facing something new, responsible, and serious. It's because they are facing with independent life. And this is also the answer to the question of how my job position came about. As I said, I work for SOS Children's Villages Croatia as a living care support expert to prepare young people from the youth community or youth care for independent life. Although young people in SOS have been preparing for independence since day one, during the last year of high school, they got to know me, and we start working on topics important for the period of their lives. We talk about continuing education and possible scholarships, about employment and how to keep the first job. Of course, we talk about housing and finding adequate accommodation to start an independent life. And we talk about finances and how to dispose of money. Beside that, we learn to cook, calculate a household budget, to know how much to spend on food and utilities, and how to save some money. And during the last year of their care, we also, for example, visit rented apartments and learn what to look out for, so the owner of the apartment does not deceive them, for example. So as you can see, the working methods are very different, from individual counseling to group workshops and institutional visits. And we talk, draw, write, and drink coffee and share information about life on equal footing. And it's very important to note that my role is also important for the transition period of their lives, when they leave care and everything we learned and practiced now became a reality. Then, but also during the preparation, I also provide emotional support, and we talk about how to deal with the feelings of loneliness and how to deal with fear of the future. I support young people in finding adequate information needed in daily life and support them in the development of practical skills. So in short, these are the main activities I'm involved as a living care support expert. And I don't know if I still have some time to talk, but this is a short story about how I help caregivers through the living care support expert program. And I'm also interested, since we are from different countries, is there anything similar and so specific for caregivers in that period of their life in your country, and do you find it useful? So I look forward to your answer, for your answering the question. But one thing I forgot to mention, that in this period of COVID, most of my work is online. So we have online workshops about all those topics that I mentioned. And that's kind of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You're doing absolutely incredible work. So now you also sent in a question for a poll. So we're going to the poll now. So just waiting for it to start running. All right, so the question is, do you find the role of living care support expert useful? And there are several questions with some explanation behind it. So we're just waiting, and I think the results are almost in. Yeah. So
great. I must say that this role is only in SOS Children's Villages in Croatia. It's not on state level, so that's why asking, is that interesting to caregivers or not?
Yeah, I think definitely almost everyone agrees that it should be definitely introduced on a more on a bigger level. Yeah. We were actually wondering, Martina, what do you think about this? If you're still with us here. Martina? Okay, so we're just gonna move on now because of time. Yeah, let's see, on to the next presentation. Joelle, you're still muted.
Thanks for reminding me. Our next presentation will be given by Laura. And Laura, I have a question for you. And my question for you is, what's your favorite movie?
Oh, my favorite movie. Okay, that's a difficult one. Let's go with Eat, Pray, Love from Julia Roberts.
Yes. And is there a specific reason why you like that movie?
Yeah, because if you haven't seen it, you can choose that movie for any afternoon where you're feeling a bit down or a bit blue, and that will give you, at least it gives me a lot of strength to keep on with everything.
I'm happy to hear that. And your time starts now, so good luck with your presentation.
Thank you. So what I'm going to talk about today is about the Planea program, which is an online life skills training tool for young people in care, which it's currently being used here in Spain. Okay, so from research, we know that preparing for living care is key for a successful transition from care, but particularly important from young people who are living from residential care. Sometimes they have less opportunities to naturally develop some autonomy or life skills, and it's important to have specific training tools for this. In Spain, we used to have a very used tool called Umbrella Program, but after almost 20 years of use, we spotted a need to upgrade and update this tool and to create this Planea program, which is a set of updated activities designed to train independent living skills, which is accessible online and has a very supportive approach to attractive and design. So we argue that young people in residential care can start develop their autonomy very soon, even from 14 years old, and they can access these activities that can be proposed by their care workers in an online connected device, which can be their smartphone, a tablet, or a personal computer. The idea is that they can choose from a big menu. We like to call this a menu of activities, hundreds of activities, in fact. And the idea is that they can start a shared process of choosing what they need or what they want to engage in a very flexible way, so that they can they can choose whatever is best for them in each moment and engage in very practical and experiential activities that they can they can do in their residential care home. This project was conducted from the university, as I'm a PhD student, and we are a very practice-related research group. And we started developing it in 2017, and nowadays it is currently being used in 41 residential care homes in one region of the country, with quite interesting results for the moment. We have a perspective of keeping an eye on continuous improvement for this tool, and we would like to always keep on evaluating and improving its features and so on. The idea is the results are quite good. I have some words from also young people who have used the program and care workers that can speak much better than me for it. And for example, I would like to read to you the young person words that say, "These years they have been doing things for me, but these activities helped me learn how to do them on my own." So the idea is that they can be the main role in their development and in their skills development. So that is all from me. And if you want to know more, please ask and feel free to email me. I would like also to thank all the organization for this amazing poster session and all the convention that is going, I'm sure it's going to be great. So thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Laura. It was amazing. So now we're gonna move on to the last speaker of this block, the fifth one. Let's see, we are first going to start with a poll. So you guys all know the drill by now. There's gonna, a question will appear and you can answer it. And this time the question is, what do you think is the most common support needed by care leavers immediately after leaving care? So it could be either accommodation, higher studies, or finding a life partner. And while the poll is running, I would like to remind you all to ask your questions in the Q&A function, because after this presentation, we will have another Q&A session with the speakers from this block. So we're just waiting for the final results to come in. And there they are. So most people think that the most support needed by care leavers is support with accommodation. And after that comes studies, and after that, finding a life partner. So that was the fifth poll, and now on to the final presentation from this block. It's from Divya Fernandez from India. Are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Nice.
Okay.
For you, the icebreaker question.
Yes.
What is your favorite food?
It's noodles. Noodles.
Nice, nice. So good luck with your presentation, and thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So hi, everybody. I'm Sister Divya Fernandez, working with St. Catherine's Home, Mumbai. And while working with care leavers at the home, helping them to transition, I came across I was curious to know what happens to them after they move out, what are the challenges they face. So I took up this topic. And while you might envision in a big bad city like Mumbai, what could be the challenges a young girl faces moving out for the first time? Something dramatic like falling into the sex market, gangs, drugs. But let me tell you the stark truth. It was something simple and basic, like support for higher studies. That was what they felt the lack of. And 95% of them felt the need for this. And the next most important thing was 85% of them wanted counseling and advice. In other words, someone to listen to them. But I didn't stop at studying the challenges. I also looked at what the existing support systems which they turn to when they face these challenges. And that led to some of my most important findings and recommendations. I found under the support systems in the Indian family system society that family formed the most important support system. It may be extended family, marital family, dysfunctional family. Even when the family was not in a position to support them, they looked to the family for support, which shows the need for strengthening families, giving them financial assistance, tracing families. And the second most important support system was the care home, which those who didn't have families, I think the care home could act as a corporate parent to provide support. And the third most important was the friends, which points to the need for forming good peer support groups like Udayan and others are doing. And the second thing I studied was the basic psychological needs scale based on the self-determination theory developed by Deci and Ryan. I used this scale, according to which there are three basic psychological needs of autonomy, competence, and relatedness. So if these are fulfilled, the person feels psychologically satisfied. So the scores of these girls were low, not very too low, but they were low. And which reflects in my other findings. Like, for example, autonomy, they didn't even have a say in the decisions regarding their own life once they moved out. And competence, the care home provided training based on the donor's preferences and convenience, while they went into jobs of their choice and they were not feeling competent. Relatedness, again, there was no one to turn back to and get support. And under my relationship findings, you'll see that there was like many of them got into relationships quickly, and many of them said fear of being left alone made them to stay in relationships even when it was unsatisfactory. And but the best part of my research was the amazing resilience and determination I saw in these care levers. For example, even though support for higher studies was a most important need, they said we don't want rollouts. We don't want to be dependent anymore. We, we want to make it on our own. So basically, they wanted that points to the second most important need. They wanted counseling and advice. That means someone to talk to, guide them to the right opportunities and resources. And who can do this? That is empowered families, supportive care homes, and develop peer networks. And not just sporadic support, but we need policy systems and plans to develop these. So hats off to all of you who are working on this, and hats off to the caregivers for your resilience and determination. Thank you.
Thank you, Livia. Now I'd like to remind everyone well, first I'd like to thank you for your presentation. And then I'd like to remind everyone that you can start asking your questions in the Q&A, and those questions can be directed at Caroline, Laura, Bojan, let's see, Martina, and Divya.
Yes, and while we're waiting for the questions to come in, I really, again, we also already saw it in the chat, everyone is doing such a great job today. Together, we all really are making a difference, and it's absolutely incredible to hear all your stories and all your research, and it's really, really awesome. Thank you all for that.
And
So
we can see in the chat, there are a lot of thank yous also to all the presenters. Someone who shared the news with us that they're excited that there are almost 7% attendance from registrants today. And that's a testament to, and they've stayed on all through, and that's a testament to the engaging presentations that were given today.
So let's see, if there are any questions, once again, you can just ask them in the Q&A function.
Well, I can take that your presentations were clear because I can see no questions neither in the chat nor in the Q&A function. So we'll just move on. The first presenter from the next block is, or from the last block, we're already there. I see a poll, I think.
Okay, let's just continue with a poll, poll number 6. So I think you guys all know how it works by now. You get a question, you can answer it, and together we can look at the results. So let's wait for it to start running. The question this time is, did you feel ready or prepared when it came time for you to leave the place where you lived during your childhood or adolescence, albeit a family home, alternative care placement, or anything? So you can choose from yes, maybe somewhat, or not at all. And yet again, giving all attendees time to fill the poll in. So if we're just going to wait a moment longer. Okay, and the results, let's see. So actually quite divided this time. So some people say, yes, they were ready. Some people say somewhat, maybe I could have been prepared a bit better or something else. And also some people say, no, I wasn't prepared at all. So very different results from, well, probably a lot of different situations. So thank you for filling in this poll. And let's see, Joelle, now we're moving on to the next presentation.
Yes, and first I see that there's question, has any presenter worked on question of identity, the confusion around it, as well as identity papers? So this is a question for all the presenters. Are there some who have? Is there someone who'd like to react?
Okay, so maybe that
Let's
is
move on.
Question to research some other time.
And maybe you can also answer this in the chat. Now, then we're going to move on to the next presenter, which is Gabrielle Rask from Austria. Gabriela, I have a question for you, a more personal question. What are some languages that you would like to learn, or a language?
Like to learn Arabic.
Arabic. And is there a specific reason for it?
My partner is from Jordan.
Oh,
Yeah.
because of that. All
Yes.
right. Thank
and
you.
I think it's a beautiful language.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer first. And second, I'd like to wish you good luck with your presentation.
Thank you so much, Joelle. So, hi everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you all today. My name is Gabriela and I work for SOS Children's Villages International. And today I'm here today to present our poster presentation of the Prepare for Leaving Care training that was developed and delivered within the frame of 2 EU co-funded projects together with 12 partners, including CELSIS, FISE Austria, FONPC Romania, and 9 SOS Children's Villages member associations. So the aim of these projects was really to develop and deliver a state-of-the-art training for care professionals who work directly with young people in the process of leaving care. Another aim was to create support networks for care leavers, as well as to raise awareness and advocate for improved outcomes for care leavers. So how did we do this? Well, we worked directly with care leavers and young people in care, both at national and international level. And through peer-to-peer interviews, young people from the project countries shared what worked for them during the leaving care process, what should remain the same, what needs to change, as well as what skills, knowledge, and experience people who work with care leavers need to have. And the main conclusion suggests that for care leavers, it is the manner in which they are supported that is most important for them, as well as the attitude and skills of the professionals who are working with them that really makes the big difference. They also want to know that professionals who are supporting them through their care experience and whilst leaving care truly respect them. Other concerns highlighted in the data include poor access to services and the extreme variance in the quality of support in planning, transitioning, as well as in aftercare. Now, based on these findings, the Prepare for Leaving Care practice guidance and the training manual were developed in partnership with CELSIS. And here in the left corner, you can see the 4 guiding principles, which include building sustained relationships of care and respect, aiming for high levels of participation, promoting and protecting all human rights of children and young people, as well as a great need for an intersectoral approach. And to date, this training has reached over 1,000 care professionals in these 10 European countries. And not only were young people part of developing the training, but they were also co-delivering it. And if you go up, you will see that, oh, you can stay there, sorry. For this participatory approach to work, one of the lead trainers, Arthurs Poxans, developed a list of key recommendations for national master trainers. And here you can see these on the left side. And I also really want to highlight that all the young people who took part as co-trainers, they were and are remunerated for their work. And this participatory approach, it really gives care professionals the opportunity to hear firsthand how young people are experiencing the leaving care process, as well as reflect together on how to improve these experiences for future generations of care leavers. And in all countries, if we go to the top right of the poster, in all countries, the training evaluation shows an increase in knowledge and skills of training participants. And in particular, the evaluation indicates that the relationships between professionals and care leavers is improving as a result of the training. And in the poster above, you can see some of the direct quotes from participants. And finally, based on the voices of young people, we developed a call to action, which includes recommendations organized under 3 categories: realizing care leavers' rights in the law, realizing care leavers' rights in practice, and allocate adequate funds for realizing care leavers' rights. And I want to leave you with a quote from Javier, a youth advocate from Spain. And he says, "The care leaving process is quite important for young people and care professionals alike, and it should be a reflection of effective state investment and skilled caregivers to ensure that we, young people, are prepared for independent living." Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Gabriella. All right, and on to the next presentation. First, we are, I think, either gonna have a poll or not. No, we're gonna go straight to the next poster. From Phutan, from Vietnam, are you here?
Yes. Hello.
Hi. So we also have a quick icebreaker question for you. What is your favorite animal?
My favorite animal, I like cats.
Nice, me too. So good luck with your presentation and thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tuan from, I'm working as a national coordinator of youth care and development in Vietnam. And I would like to express my big pleasure to be here and to present about our extended support to the hard time of pandemic. And I hope that you are all very well and we enjoy what have been presenting throughout this special event. To start with, I would like to mention that by this poster, we right from its title, we'd like to focus on the COVID-19 impact, our support provided to SOS care leaver in Vietnam, and our recommendation for better supporting them in the future events. As reported, Vietnam underwent 2 waves of coronavirus pandemic, which hit the economy and society hard. Even though our government have implemented the effective measure and policy of prevention. So due to the economic crisis, many enterprises, especially the small ones, they closed down and or suspended the operation. So a large number of the employee, the worker, they face the income loss or salary cut or and struggle harder for their living condition. So in this context, we have contacted our SOS care leaver to check their situation, and the care leaver themselves they did the same to seek the support that they need. And we could reach around 830 care leaver who work in the sector which badly affected by the pandemic. And we identified that they struggle with many challenges, like reduce the income because they lost their job and they have a layoff. Driven from this, they face the accommodation challenges because they lack of payment for the rent, because many of them, they don't have the house or the apartment they need to rent. They had no food security and they miss financial security. The social network, especially during the social distancing, while still facing the emotional challenges. Think about this challenge and difficulty as a support need to extended to them. We have provided the monetary support for a number of 462 the caregiver only were done to the bank transfer for their food, their rent, and other necessary stuff. When we get the contact from our caregiver, they need also the temporary accommodation. By this, we have arranged the accommodation in the village premises, in some venues, like in the retired mother houses or in the youth facility for the boys. And the caregiver during the pandemic, they also return to the SOS mother and co-worker for advice. And in this situation, I'm sorry. In this situation, we have provided the support, the classroom support to help them not to feel alone in the difficult situation and to take any unwanted steps. I'm very sorry. With the support, so we could see that many caregivers, they could overcome the difficulty and stabilize their living condition. However, we also figure out that not all of them could reach the support, and we need more support to the number of the caregiver in the still in need, and we need to follow up their situation when it is getting the pandemic getting complicated. And we also see that the trends in the working world are changing, especially for the sector like hospitality or tourism. So the employment becomes the big challenge.
I'd like to
for our
thank
young
you,
people.
but your time is over. And it's getting a little bit noisy, but we'd like to thank you for your presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's see. Now we have our next presentation. Before we continue, I'd like to remind everyone that at the end of today, or at the end of this meeting, you can vote for the live winner. So remember your favorites, and we still have 3 to go. And let's start with Wolfgang and Veronica from Germany. I have a question for you guys also. My question for you is, what profession did you want to become when you were a child?
Oh, that's a difficult question. I remember I want to work with flowers and in the nature.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
it's a lovely profession, but what you're doing now is also very good work. So I hope you are enjoying your profession right now.
Yeah,
I'd like.
So there were times when I wanted to be an actor. So sometimes I'll do it nowadays as a hobby.
As a hobby. Well, that's also a very smart idea. I'd like to give you your 4 minutes, and good luck with your presentation.
Thank you very much. So imagine you are at the beginning of a journey into the unknown. What do you need? So overall, you need the confidence, I can do it. Next, please. My name is Veronica, and my colleague Wolfgang are from SOS Children Village, Germany. And our poster focuses exactly to such a journey, the transition from care to independent living. We will present results from our panel study. Next, please. We follow the main research question: what do young people in care need for the transition to an independent life? Next, please. The theory behind of I can do it, we call capability to act. It is a personal meta resource based on different constructions like resilience or coherence. Next. Our panel is an ongoing 9-year study with a still growing sample. So currently we have more than 200 care leavers. And we use multi-methods. We have questionnaires, and in odd years we have also in-depth interviews to survey data of different topics and also from different perspectives. Next, please. We conduct repeated measures that cover the whole process of living care. So first we get data in care, followed up by questions about the transition, and then we survey also the care leavers. Next, please. Regarding in care, we see a lower initial level of capability to act due to the burdens of the past. But the good practice, practice in everyday relations can support the capability to act. And young people in care have also different expectations on the process of living care. Regarding on the transition, here we observe the different types of development of capability to act. So, for example, they are staying high, losing or gaining of capability to act. And this development is interacting with participation and attendance during the transition. And after care, we identify factors for positive development, like high education helps or also a good social network. And further, we see different outcomes and need for support. So, for example, one part is in a good way, but others seems to be challenged in several areas of life. Coming to the conclusion, capability to act is an important resource that can be supported, but it can be also corrupted. So what should we do in practice? It is the awareness that living care is a transitional process starting early and extending far into independent living. So for care leavers, caregivers, and also the welfare system. It is a tough journey, but together we can do it. So thank you very much for your attention.
Yes, thank you so much. It was a great presentation, so thank you both.
Yeah, thank you.
So we're almost, oh, sorry, did you want to say anything?
No, okay, it's okay.
Great, thank you. So on to the second to last presentation from Moses from Sri Lanka. Are you here?
Yes.
Hi. So also for you, a quick question. What is your favorite pastime or hobby?
Sorry, I didn't get it.
Your favorite pastime or your hobby?
I would say sleeping.
I think all of us can relate to that. All right, so thank you very much and good luck with your presentation.
Thank you very much. I'm Akash from Sri Lanka, from Generation Never Give Up, the first care leavers network in South Asia, which began 3 years ago with a speak out session of 4 care leavers, 4 children who have grown up in orphanages who left care. An initiative which was begun by SOS Villages Sri Lanka. There we started sharing about the lives, the challenges that we face throughout life, and thus began a network called Generation Never Give Up. So as a result of it, currently we have over 200 members registered in our network, and 18 plus organizations are supporting caregivers across Sri Lanka, over 400 institutions, children who are coming out of 400 institutions in Sri Lanka. During last 3 years, we were able to campaign on one major issue, which is very common to, I think, the entire world, which is the birth certificate. So most of these children don't have proper birth certificates, and some of their details are missing. So therefore, we were able to campaign on this particular thing to removal of the marital status of the parents, because that is, which is something out of children's control. So as a result of 3 years campaigning, now we have been able to emphasize on this fact, and the government of Sri Lanka has agreed to take off this particular annex of the marital status of the parents, and also to campaign for a brand new birth certificate, which pertaining only the details of the children. So that is an achievement that we were able to achieve within the last 3 years. And also during the pandemic, last January to March, we were able to support 138 caregivers in financial and also in materials, a total worth of rupees 700,000. Finance were given, distributed to these caregivers, because they were, during the lockdown, they were living alone with no one. And also we were able to discuss on national level about strengthening the employability of youth leaving care, because that is a major challenge for many of the youth. They don't have proper employment. So we were able to reach on that. Also hosting support events for many caregivers who don't have peer support, and also representing Sri Lanka in international children's and global events. So these are some of the achievements that we as a generation never give up, which began with 4 members, Iresha, Nimu, Sashikala, and Akash, myself, with the support of SOS villages in Sri Lanka. So as a result of it, currently we are a member group of over 200 members, and with next 2 years, we are planning on few major discussions with the government of Sri Lanka, which is, the first one is about the housing issue, accommodation issue for the children, youth living care. And also we are working on student exchange program with caregivers who are here, who is willing to come to Sri Lanka and who is willing to take us there. So we are planning of an exchange, and also to increase our membership of 200 to over 2,000 members from 14,000 children who are currently in orphanages, in childcare institutions in Sri Lanka. In winding up, let me read this poem which was written. We are members of society, and the society is we. We are the society, the children that are left alone in this world to either live with their relations, brothers, sisters, or other in a home that is far, far away from home. They call us orphans, yes, because we have nothing to offer. They see use in the society, but we are not recognized. Not known because we are known as those born from unknown. Our heart is drowned, majority to the fulfilling, fertility, and the pointless of life, seen every areas of our lives as stories carved from other people's lives. We know we have a future, sure, but the way things going now, we doubt, are we still sure? Left alone in a world of sovereignty, taken from our fathers and our mothers place to place where everything we guessed is haste and no place. Let me conclude like this. Let alone world be sobriety, taken of fathers of our mothers place to place where everything we gaze is haste or no place. Looked up in the city of adversity, creating a gap, a protected gap between our own goodwill. We have no choice.
I'd like
right
to
to our
remind
own.
you that your time is up. Can you finish your sentences?
Yes, let me wind it up this. While their children are in school studying, we are the bush farming. While they are taking their children out of shopping, we are looked at up home hunger hoping. While they're eating, we are watching them. Not really watch, but waiting to wash the plates. No matter, no mother, no father, what should we do? Help. Please, let us help the orphans. Let us support the caregivers. We are generation never give up, Sri Lanka. Thank you.
Thank you, Moses. now we're almost at the end. I'd like to remind everyone that there's still a live voting for the live winner. And if you have any questions, to drop them in the Q&A box for all the presenters of the third block. And now we're with Yasmin from Egypt.
Hello, Joelle. Thank you.
I'd like to ask you your question and like to ask, what's your favorite type of music?
Well, that's a great question. I would say Indian instrumental music.
Indian instrumental music. All right, thank you. And I would like to tell you good luck and
thank you so much.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here with all of you. I am Yasmin from Egypt, presenting Wataniya Society's intervention on supporting youth to integrate into society. How we did that is we started by hearing from the care leavers themselves what are the main challenges that they were facing. And there were two types of main challenges: the internal challenges, such as limited educational opportunities, as well as the limited skill sets that they were provided in some of the care homes, and oftentimes not being talked about their identity. And then the external challenges, which ranged from social stigma to not having enough policies in place that supported the care leavers, such as housing and education-related policies. So Wataniya Society launched a program to respond to these challenges called Forza Program. This program, translated from the Arabic language, means opportunity, and it was launched in 2011 to support care leavers, to encourage them to find their strengths. We can go down a bit, please. It is in 3 stages. The main stages were, first of all, the self-exploration. Each youth had the opportunity to explore what their strengths are, what they're good at, and what their hobbies are. And then in turn, the second stage was self-development. It was an individualized process for each of the youth where they got to develop their strengths. And then finally, they got to practice these strengths in opportunities and scholarships that they've received in the program to encourage them to fulfill these strengths and to gain self-esteem and to gain confidence in themselves and to interact with others outside of the care home. Throughout this process, the care leavers mentioned that they gained a lot of confidence in themselves and were able to face their identity. They were able to talk about their past and about being in care homes. They felt very encouraged because they had worked on their strengths and they worked on themselves throughout the process. And after the program ended in 2016, around 87 youth had participated. Some of them continued with us in a program that we launched in 2017, which was a care leavers forum where they gathered. It was a platform for them to share their experiences, to share their knowledge, and to learn from experts in different fields and have their voices be heard in the community. This was a form of them giving back to the community after having learned a lot throughout the Forza program. And in that regard, we recommend as Wataniya that caregivers and youth, while they are in care, are encouraged by the caregivers, that they are encouraged by their caregivers, that they are empowered through their strengths, and that they are prepared for the transition and prepared by having talked to them about their identities. And on the other hand, we also encourage and recommend that caregivers are supported and are trained to support the caregivers before they leave care in this transition, and that they talk to them very openly and very honestly about the next stages and about what is to come and how they can prepare them for the next step. And with that, I would like to leave you all with a question. What can each one of us do as care leavers, as organizations, and as individuals to support youth while they are in care and to prepare them to successfully integrate into society? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. Again, absolutely amazing presentation. So now we have had all the poster presentations. So now we're going to have the final Q&A. So this is about the last 5 posters from Gabrielle, Rutan, Wolfgang and Veronica, Moses and Jasmine. So if there are any questions, please ask them through the Q&A function. Okay, so also reading through the chat, everyone is very positive to each other. Everyone is doing absolutely great work. So yet again, we already said it a lot of times today, but thank you all.
And I would like to ask Jasmine to again ask your question to everyone that's here today, and maybe we can see if we can already get some answers now. So would you be so kind to again tell us your question that you said at the end?
Sure. I was asking, what can each one of us do to support youth leaving care and integrating into society successfully? Because we each have a role in creating that safe space, caregivers and the society as well. Thank you.
All right, so I'd like to ask everyone to answer that question in the chat. What can each and every one of us do to support youth in their journey in leaving care?
So, for example, Maria says one way is for the community to get more involved in supporting care leavers, for example, through mentoring. That's a great one.
Educate home care and accommodation supports. Let's see what more. Participate them in every decision about their life.
Also, education without stigma. That's definitely a great one. Preventing stigma in education to make sure everyone can reach their higher potential. That's absolutely a great one. Thank you.
Someone is saying we definitely have to listen to what they say and start from there.
Also, support after care leavers. Care leaving is definitely important. Everyone is leaving great comments. Thank you.
Skill support services, mental health counseling. I hope that's an answer to your question, Jasmine.
Yes, these are amazing. Thank you so much. And if it's okay, I'll leave my email here. If someone wants to communicate with us their answer, they haven't had time to send it via the chat.
Of course. And now someone's saying that Lily and I are doing a good job. I'd like to thank that person. Lily, you're doing a good job.
Luckily, thank you. Thank you all very much. So let's see if there aren't any other questions. I think we're gonna move on.
Yes, we've had a lot of information today, a lot of presentations. Lily, what was for you something that stood out?
Well, 2 things. I think everyone, well, 3 things actually. The research for most of all, also the design of the posters was really awesome. But I think the most important thing was the support everyone is showing each other. Everyone is really engaging in the chat, thanking everyone, asking really relevant questions. So I thought that was really awesome. So what did you think, Joelle?
Well, for me, it's of course the things you just said, but most importantly, we could see a lot of care leavers today that either gave a presentation or care leavers networks like Martina or the team of Croatia. And I think as a care leaver myself, I see that as the most beautiful thing to see how much they also put work in for the next care leavers after them. And we also had a presentation from Moses, who's a care leaver. So we had a lot of care leavers today.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
And now we're going on to the online live voting for the participation prize of today. Well, we have a little bit of a criteria. Only votes by care leavers count. group of 25 care leavers from Asia to Europe.
This is the process by the care leavers before, so this was
Oh,
already
before. All right. So this was the criteria that were used to get the 3 winners for the online voting. Organization committee members were excluded, and votes on posters from their native country were not counted. So you had to vote for someone from a different country than your native one.
Yes, so today we have 3 prizes and a 4th one for the participation prize, which you guys can vote on later. So today we actually had 26 care leavers joining us from all different parts of the world, which was absolutely incredible. So like Joelle explained before, before this meeting, everyone was allowed to vote on their favorite poster. And now we will later let you guys see who won the posters. So that was really great. Thank you.
And now I think this is the criteria for the voting now. Or also the other criteria. All right. Level of participation of care leavers of the project research. So that was what the posters were given notes on. Design of the posters, level of the impact on the life of the care leavers, how clear the poster is without a presentation, and their overall mark. And now we're going to go to the live voting for today. And if everyone that has the ability to go to menti.com.
So what you guys can do is go to the website, menti.com, and then you can enter the code that's in the top of the screen. Everyone can vote, so the participants can vote, but also everyone watching at home. But we do ask you, obviously, if you to not vote for yourself, but I think that's self-explanatory. So we will show you
the website and the code on the upper level.
So please enter the name and the country of the presenters. So currently the results are hidden to keep it a bit exciting.
And you have 1 minute until the voting closes. On the right corner, right down corner, you can see the time. So please vote before it closes.
So just the last 10 seconds. All right, and the voting is closed. So now let's see who won. And overwhelmingly, with with a lot of the votes, Martina from Italy. So Martina, are you here?
Thank you. Yeah.
So everyone really loved your presentation. So maybe if you wanted to.
Thank you so much.
So
well, thank you so much.
You are one of the 4 winners of today, but I do like to remind everyone that winning was not the important part, but participation was the important part. And this is just a fun at the end. So thank you all for participating, and congratulations, Martina, for winning.
Thank you so much.
So now, obviously, Martina has won the popular vote, but we also already did a different vote, which with the medals which you saw earlier. So it was incredibly close. Everyone did such an amazing job, and everything was really tight with the scores. So let's see, Joelle, do you want to announce the first winners of today?
Yes, I will announce them first. I'll just leave this for the people that were 5th and 4th. Those were, funnily enough, Martina from Italy. You were 4th place in the online voting, and 5th place was Phu Tian from Vietnam with a score of 4.5 and a 4.72. And just to see how close this is, the number 3 had a score of 4.75. So, and that is Bojan Krsnik from Croatia. And you, as you can see with Martina in her camera, that we have a medal for all the winners, and they will be sent through mail. So that medal will be yours. Lily,
All right,
number
and on to
2.
the second one had a score of 4.77, so incredibly close, and that is the silver medal for Gabrielle from Austria.
Congratulations, Gabrielle. And also for you, there will be a medal sent. And if I'm right, for all the 4 winners, a medal will be sent through mail. So also for you, Martina. And then the number 1 with an average score of 4.8 is Laura from Spain.
So big applause, everyone. Everyone did a great job. And Laura, for you, there is the gold medal. We will send all the medals to you by mail. It's obviously not pure gold, but it's still the thought that counts.
And it's a recognition for all your hard work.
And thank you from Croatia. And congratulations for everybody. Woohoo.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and as we can see in the chat, everyone is congratulating you. And Jasmine, this is wonderful. It was such a pleasure. I think for all of us, it was a pleasure. And before we go to the ending, I would like to thank everyone for joining this pre-event. And next week, from the 23rd to the 25th, we have the Care Leavers Convention, the international, with a lot of, it's not a regular Zoom meeting, but a real virtual conference with a plenary room, information booth, an exhibition hall, and yes, even a selfie corner. So I'd like to invite everyone to join the coming days.
All right, so definitely thank you. So now let's all just make a final screenshot with all the poster presenters. So if everyone
I'd like to ask Martina to take away the presentation, and then to make a screenshot with all of us together.
So everyone can turn on their cameras.
Yes. Does everyone have their picture? Let's see.
All right.
I think that was it.
Then from my side, so now I'm going to take it over. So I would like to ask you all to give, like Lily and Joelle as our moderators today, like a thumbs up or like an applause in the screen. So thank you very much for hosting this event. It's for care leavers, by care leavers, with care leavers. So we are very proud to have you on board. So please subscribe for the convention next week if you've not done it already. And a big applause also for those who won the competition today. Please send me an email with your post address so we can send you the medals by post, and that they will arrive to the destinations that they need to go to. Thank you very much. Stay on board if you want to chat a little bit more. but the rest of the Saturday is yours. Thank you.